So I've noticed that in the comments section for pretty much any of my videos, the most frequently asked question I get is something along the lines of, where did you get that piece from? I do have a lot of rare Marble Run pieces that most other people don't have, mainly because they came from rare discontinued sets, and I always try to manually respond to all these comments asking where that piece came from. Until recently, I've decided that maybe instead of doing that, it would be easier for me to just make a video explaining where all these mysterious pieces came from. So, here it is. The setup for today's video is kind of messy because, as you can see, we have a currently unfinished track, which is going to be for the next Marble Duel once it's finished. But in the meantime, as you can see, we have different piles of pieces which basically represent the sets that they came from. And that's why they have these distinct color schemes. But first off, we're going to talk about this set.
The brain gets much of its thinking power from a class of electrically excitable nerve cells known as
fatness and obesity. This right here is the Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run. Yeah, that's a pretty lengthy title, but this is a set I got back in like 2016, and it was discontinued shortly after. If you have ventured deep within YouTube and found some obscure Marble Run brands, then you may be familiar with an obscure, pretty much impossible to get Marble Run set called Marbutopia, which this set is basically the exact same thing as that, except this I was actually able to get. Basically, it's the same color scheme as that set, at least the modern Marbutopia sets. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of strange, unusual pieces here, so let's go ahead and go over them. I remember I was very excited to get this set because it had a lot of stuff I'd never had before. So first off, we have these basic starting cups. They're a bit differently shaped than the Marbulous ones. But if we look closely, I'm not sure if you can really see it on camera, but there's like a brick sort of texture there. You might be able to see like a pattern if I shine the light at this specific section, but like it's not a total solid color. There is a pattern there, although you can only really see it in person if you look really close. But after that, we also have these decorations, which you basically put on the top of pieces, you know. And there's also these marble things, which this doesn't come off. I mean, once you attach them, you can't detach them, because as you can see, this one doesn't have one, but you're supposed to put these on here as like an extension to that decoration piece. And then we get to some of the actual track pieces. We have this unusually shaped base, which actually has like a hole at the bottom, so you can attach this to spacers if you want it to be higher up for any reason. And then we have this right here, this classic base. I remember some of the older Marbulous sets had this, where you can actually line marbles up at the end of a race, but you could also have them drop through this hole in midair, which before drop-off tracks became a thing, these were pretty much the way to go if you wanted to do that. And then we also have this bell here, which is one of the more interesting things about the set. As you can see, it rings a lot more well than the Marbulous bell, and it's quite a bit bigger too. And the way you actually attach this to a track is a bit more complicated, but the end result is definitely worth it. So we're just gonna go ahead and take a track, which, by the way, this track piece, it's basically this Marbulous piece, but with like a narrower center, so marbles can't really pass each other there, but it is a good place if you want to have a section of the track where the marbles slow down a bit. So what you got to do is take one of these, and then basically you want to get this stand thing here and line it up so it's positioned over the hole. This is kind of hard to do on camera. Well, actually, wait, no, you want to stick this through here so you see that rod hanging out, and then you attach it like that, and there you go, you got your bell. So now you would just attach it there. You'll see how much better this sounds compared to the Marbulous bell. I wish other sets had this design. You hear that ringing? It's not really easy to hear, but it's it definitely rings a lot more than Marbulous, where it just like briefly cuts off. But you know, So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then there's even more stuff to this set. We have these U-turn tracks, which unlike the Marbulus design, unlike the later sets, these are quite a bit longer. And I really like that. They're like the earliest iteration of this piece where marbles won't always make it all the way up, so they'll actually be able to pass each other. So that's pretty cool. And there's no risk of marbles flying off, so that's pretty cool. And then we have this mini funnel here. That's right, this is where the famous orange mini funnel from my channel came from. And it is a bit awkward having this shorter spacing, but you can pretty much just put like a straight track there and it'll catch the marble. And then we also have this vertical spinner here, which looks a lot like the Marbulus one, but it's actually 3 spacers tall instead of 2. And then we have this bumpy track, I guess you could say. It's quite a lot bumpier than the ones that would be included in modern Marbulus sets, which again, we're gonna go ahead and get some test marbles. I don't think this is gonna be a very well-made video, but I'm kind of just making this so you guys won't have to be too curious about where I get all these sets. And yeah, I've noticed that the speed can kind of vary on this piece. Sometimes they'll go like through there very fast in like less than a second. We have the most interesting piece to me, this old peg maze here, which this is probably a superior design over the modern one, which is still pretty good. They both designs allow marbles to pass each other, but I just like how much wider this one is. I remember this is what I was most looking forward to when I got this set, because I had never gotten a peg maze before. But anyways, yeah, oh, there's also this, which, this might seem pretty useless, but if you have one of those 3-way merging tracks with a hole in the center, then you can have them drop into this thing from there, which is something I've done on the channel before. And the set also has 2 of these really wide wiggling chutes, which is quite drastically different from the Marbulus one you're probably more familiar with. These pieces both kind of work in the same way, but this one takes up a bit more space, and I think it takes less time to complete. And then we have 2 funnels, 2 regular size funnels included in this set, but they're still different from the modern Marbulus ones. You'll notice the hole in the center is a lot smaller, and it like actually slants steeper towards the center. You might think that makes it more interesting, but I'm honestly glad they no longer make the funnels like this, because when there's multiple marbles, this design, it very frequently causes marbles to get stuck in the center. That's why I typically use these as an obstacle in the survival marble races, where the goal is to not get stuck. And we also have a horizontal paddle wheel. Again, this is a different design. And then we finally have the last piece here is this long double length piece, which is only 1 spacer tall, unlike pretty much all the other double length pieces out there, which are at least 2 spacers tall. This one is only 1, which has come useful in a lot of different situations. And although you can't really get this set anymore, unless there's like a random eBay listing that comes into existence, you can still get a very similar piece to this today, and that is from the Mindware Elevator Marble Run, where you can get this piece, which is pretty much almost the same thing, except if we look here, you'll notice it's shaped slightly differently. I think this design is actually better because marbles won't get stuck on this turn here because it's not as abrupt as the old design. But yeah, both of these are pretty useful. It's nice to have a 1 spacer tall long piece, and that is pretty much Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run. Of course, after they discontinued this set, a few years later, they released the Fat Brain Toys Mega Marble Run Marathon set, which you're seeing right here. And it is Marbulus compatible, and it has a lot more modern designs. And although it does have more pieces than the Super Fun Marble Run, I never actually got this set because it doesn't have anything I don't already have. And it seems like even this new set was also recently discontinued, so that's kind of a shame. But anyways, I think we might as well move on to the next set now.
Redbox is shutting down, and it's way worse than you think.
I'm sure you've heard of Galt, or Marble Genius, or Marbulus, of course, or Mindware, but I'm betting you've probably never heard of Redbox. Yep, that's right, there's actually a Marble Run set brand called Redbox, and it's been published under a couple different names like WoW Toys. Even Nickelodeon partnered with Redbox at one point and made the Nickelodeon Marble Madness set. which I have a set very similar to that, which I'll get to soon enough. But this is a smaller red box set I have. It looks quite a bit different from Marbulus, but it actually is compatible with Marbulus. But as you can see, it has a lot of pieces you won't find in any other brand. Like, straight away, you'll notice how different the funnels are. They don't have the outside rings, so you can't attach the funnel toppers to them, which is definitely a disadvantage, but the hole in the center is a lot bigger, so that means marbles are even less likely to get stuck here. So I typically use these red box funnels at the start of a marble run where I'm pouring a bunch of marbles in, you know, just to minimize the chances of marbles getting stuck there. And then, similar to the vertical paddle wheel, we have this included in the set, which at first may just look like a decorative spacer that's 2 spacers high, but it actually does spin when a marble enters it. Because you'll notice that, like, there's these, if we look inside, you'll see these plates that the marbles flip around in. However, if you have too many marbles going in these at once, then they're gonna get stuck. But it's still pretty cool. And then after that we have, I don't think I've really used this on the channel before. This is a starting piece that is included with the set. And this marble just spins around there, enters the hole. Pretty cool. I only have one of these. And then we also have these, which I've had a couple of them. And yeah, they're just a basic starting track, nothing to see here. And then we also have this large finishing base. It's quite a bit bigger than the standard circular Marbulus base for comparison. You can see that this is quite a bit bigger. And then we also have one of the most interesting aspects of this set, and that is these long S tracks here, which marbles can get through very quickly. Like, it's pretty cool to make, like, side-by-side race tracks with these, because the marbles get through them really fast. And after that, we have this basic base. Not really interesting. Let's just move on. And then we have this rigid straight track with sort of a mini funnel at the end. However, unfortunately, I don't really use this piece much because marbles tend to get stuck at the entrance to them, because this set is designed for slightly smaller plastic marbles, but most of the pieces still work with standard marbles. But as you can see, that marble just got stuck there. And the same problem happens with this piece, which is basically the same thing. It still has these ridges, except there's no funnel at the edge. Except, actually, previously I called this piece the most interesting part about the set, but I think that was kind of a lie. This right here is the most interesting part about Redbox. This double spinner here, really cool. And as you can see, it works exactly how you would expect it to, but it's still really nice to have. I think I have 4 of these now. And then last up, we have this vertical paddle wheel piece here. So you just attach this here, and again, it's another piece that the marbles get through really quickly. And although it works pretty decently, sometimes this spinner will very easily just fall off like that, so that's a bit annoying. So I don't use them too much. But anyways, that's pretty much all the pieces for this pile of Redbox. That may be it for this Redbox set, but I have another Redbox set which is a lot more interesting. Introducing the Redbox Marble Express, which I actually unboxed on my YouTube channel last Christmas. As you can see, this is quite a bit bigger. Well, it has a bigger variety of pieces with 120 in the set, and there's a lot of really cool stuff here. So we get some pieces you may remember from the previous pile of Redbox. We have another one of these double spinners. We have the vertical spinners and also the fast track here, but we also have some new pieces. We have a long version of that fast track. We have 2 funnels. This time we have one that isn't lime green for once. And we also have this right here, which is one of the most interesting parts about this set. This is actually a split track. You see how this right here, it actually moves back and forth. You might go through this path here, or they might drop through that hole. So that's pretty cool. And then we also have this piece, which I don't think I've actually used in a track yet because it only works with smaller marbles. But basically, there's a little tab here, which if marbles are small enough to fit through there, when they go through there, the lights will start flickering like this for a few seconds. So pretty cool. I wish I could use that with standard sized marbles, but I can't. But maybe it'll be in the next duel if I can get it to work. And then we also have this jump track here, except as you can see, the jump ramp and the landing cup, as you can see, is all connected. It's all one piece, so that's pretty easy to set up. And then we have these vertical drop-through pieces, which again, unfortunately, only smaller marbles can fit through these, but they're still pretty cool to have. And the set, alongside regular Marbulous compatible spacers, we also have double height spacers, as you can see here. So that's an easy way to build higher up without using too many pieces. And we have more of these spinners you saw earlier. And then we get to the granddaddy of them all, this elevator right here. It's not the best, but it works. When I originally unboxed this set, I thought it was terrible because I didn't realize that those two seemingly useless pieces that come with the set are for blocking out these elevator holes, which were my main complaint with it. And I guess now I'll show you how this works. Alright, this, unlike the other elevators I have, this one is actually like mechanical. It doesn't have any electronic parts, so after your marbles get loaded in, you have to manually crank this gear here, which can be kind of a pain to do that. Well, right now it's working really well, better than ever, but we see a problem with this. The very last marble, if there's no marbles behind it, it won't go up the elevator, but I found out that all you have to do is just manually push it in and then it goes in. So that's basically how you solve that. And the elevator goes up pretty high as well, as you can see. It's kind of hard to crank it up while on camera, but that's about like 40 spacers high, I think. That's kind of just an estimate, but yeah, it's pretty tall. And yeah, I would say it works pretty well, so, yeah. But of course, in my first review, I thought this elevator was terrible, but now I kind of like it. I don't use it too much because I have a bunch of chain elevators, which are easier to use, but this is, definitely easier to set up than that, so that's all the Redbox sets I have. Now you know where all those pieces came from.
Crazy Bruce's Liquors, we've got the bargains for you. Woo, woo, woo.
And now we're moving on from Redbox to Mindware, which is a brand you may be familiar with because they do have a bunch of sets now that are compatible with Marbulous and are still available, and I have done an unboxing for multiple of them. But this is a Mindware set much older than any of those. It's the original version of the classic Mindware Marble Run, plus the add-on set, which was also different. Now, if you get the set now, this is what the box looks like, but this right here is this blue suitcase thing, is the original box for it. It's quite unusual to have a Marble Run box not be made out of, like, cardboard, but yeah, that's not important. We care about the actual pieces. So, as you can see, these are just some of the unique pieces that come with the set. As you can see from the box, there's a lot more to the set, but the eBay seller didn't include all the pieces, so it's like missing the funnel, but it's got most of the other stuff. So, anyways, it has another one of these long U-turn pieces, the same design as the Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run, and just for comparison, this is a Marbulous U-turn. You can see that this design is longer, and it's like a different shade of yellow. I like to call this vintage yellow just because it looks really old, but I guess the set's always been like that. And then we have two more of these starting containers, which again have that that pattern that you can't really see on camera, that kind of brick look to them. I don't really know how else to describe it. And then we also have another one of these things, which you may remember from the Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run. And if you get the set now, then this right here is what replaced this, pretty much. And yeah, so unfortunately, this is no longer in the set, but this new version might be even better because it's easier to put marbles in, of course. So that's pretty cool. And then we also have another one of the old peg mazes, just like with the Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run. And if you get the set now, these peg mazes, even back then, they were only available in the add-on set. But if you get the add-on set now, you'll get this piece instead, the modern peg maze, which I think is slightly inferior, but I do still like it. Marbles could still pass each other in it. And then we have, you may know the classic vertical paddle wheel pieces where marbles will go slightly up near the end. Well, back then in these old Mindware sets, they had this instead with these rigid textures on the ground here. As you can see, they're pretty bumpy. And if we look inside this container, we have some of the rest of the pieces from this set. The set is pretty rare, so I just have some of them in here. And as you can see, we have some of these clear straight tracks, which you don't typically see them in the completely clear color, but all the unique pieces are pretty much just laid out here. Oh yeah, and it also has another one of these, which you may remember from the Fat Brain Toys set. And the last unique piece that I want to mention from this set is this triple track here, which again, the triple tracks, they do work well with these seemingly useless starting positions because you can link them together like this so the marble goes in that hole. But this is actually a different design from what they sell now. If you get the Mind War Marble Run now, you'll get this slightly different piece instead, which this piece, although I like the design of the old one more for some reason, this one is actually a bit better because the passageways are not as narrow. This version of the piece has a flaw where marbles, even standard sized ones that come with the set, will often get stuck here on these tracks, as you might remember all the way back in Marble Race 2, where I used this piece for that, but oh well, it's still nice to have. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move on from this old Mindware Marble Run and get over to the next set.
Hey, who's making all that racket? I'm gonna sue you.
Alright, the next set we're talking about is the old version of the Galt Super Marble Run. If you look at what the set looks like now, it is way different and it doesn't really have anything unique about it when you can get the same pieces from other sets. But this has a lot of rare stuff I've never seen in any other set. It comes with another mini funnel, slightly differently shaped than the Fat Brain Toys mini funnel, but you know, it's basically the same idea. And then we have another one of these 3 spacer tall vertical paddle wheels, pretty cool. And we also have this unique wiggly chute. It looks like a double length piece, but it's actually slightly shorter than that, so that makes it kind of difficult to implement. It's basically another new type of track length. But now we have this very interesting piece, which is the same length as that one, where it has this spinner in the middle, which I've actually found another use for this spinner. And that is that if you take a Marble Genius racing set funnel, like this one, you get your spinner here, and then you want to get this stand right here, which came from the Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run. You attach this to one of the holes, and then you put the spinner on top, and boom, you got a spinner funnel, which I've used this quite a couple of times in my series. I'm pretty sure I first figured out that this was possible back in like season 2. I think that's when I first used it. And man, this is hard to remove without like a brick separator. And the last unique piece from this set I want to talk about are the spacers. Actually, they're actually differently designed from your typical Marble Run spacers, because you'll notice that first of all, they're like a perfect circle in the top instead of having like these ridges around the sides, which are kind of difficult to see on camera. But I found that these spacers are a lot stronger than your typical Marbulous ones for some reason. I officially dubbed them super spacers. I know that sounds corny, but that's pretty much what they should be called. These things are a lot more sturdy. They make me wish all spacers were like this. So for demonstration, with Marbulous and typically Marble Genius, you'll occasionally run into weak spacers like this clear orange one here, which do not connect as well to other spacers. You'll see that all it takes is a little bit of wiggling and boom, it falls right off. But if we replace that spacer with a super spacer from the set, then boom, it requires a lot more force to take off, and boom, you'll notice it does still wiggle a little bit, because I think this piece is also loose, but it holds on a lot better than the orange one would. So the downside to this is that it does require a lot more force to put on and take off these spacers, but the result is like a higher quality, and I kind of wish that the Marble Run sets all had this design. So that's pretty much it for the Galt Super Marble Run. Also, this is a lengthy video, but I'm gonna keep going.
You guys have officially made me lose my marbles!
If you've been watching my channel for long enough, then chances are, alongside the traditional Marbulous pieces, you've also seen these unusual blocky tracks that you can see right here, which look very different from Marbulous, but they are compatible with it because these support beams are the exact same shape as the Marbulous spacers. And I want to clarify, these pieces are not custom made. This is an actual set that used to exist back in the day. and it's called Rolly Block. It was actually sort of made alongside Marbulus because I believe it was designed by the same company that designed Marbulus, Toto Toys. And although this has long since been discontinued, if you look at their website, you can see images of a ton of different Marbulus and Rolly Block sets which don't exist anymore. You might be wondering, well, where on earth did you get all these pieces from? Well, my Rolly Block pieces did not actually come from any of those sets that were released under the name Rolly Block. They actually came from a few Marbulus sets which happened to have some Rolly Block pieces included. Right now, I have 2 sets that included Rolly Block pieces. The first one we're looking at, because it's the first one I got, is the 125-piece Neon Marbulus set. This is a really cool set, but it's extremely rare, completely impossible to get pretty much anywhere now, unfortunately. I got this set all the way back in like 2017, but without further ado, let's go check out the pieces. Well, you're looking at them right now. These are all the Rolly Block tracks included in this specific set. We got a ton of straight tracks, these turns, 180-degree turns. We got 2 of those. And these basically support things where you attach spacers to them to make pillars. You got the entrance pieces, exit pieces, and these ramps here. In my opinion, Rolly Block is absolutely fantastic, and I really wish that people could like still get this, because like this could be so freaking good. Like, you could make side-by-side dueling races. Perhaps I should probably do that. I just don't have too many Rolly Block pieces. And, like, it's just interesting how you can basically shape them however you want. You could basically make your own customized Marble Run pieces with them. But unfortunately, there's pretty much no way to get them now. Oh, and by the way, in case you're curious, I actually still have the box that this set came in, but it's not like cardboard or anything. It's just this clear container right here, which I currently use to store my double height large bases. And as you can see, it actually has the Edu-Shape logo in front, which is like the company that started selling Marbulus after they seemingly partnered with Toto Toys. But of course, now they only have one Marbulus set that's left on the market, which is just an 80-piece set for $50 that doesn't even have any funnels. Wow, how far we've fallen. No wonder other brands like Marble Genius have pretty much replaced Marbulus entirely, but I'm getting off topic. And if we look over here, these are the non-Rolly Block pieces that came with this set. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. There's some things I've never had before at the time, like how there's a lot of these glitter pieces which look really cool. I kind of wish these were still really being made. The only way you can really get these now is from like the Mindware Sparkle Marble Run, which only has a few. And also the Marble Genius Swings accessories, which, by the way, speaking of swings, this set includes one. That's right, Marble Genius actually did not originally design the swing. They were in Marbulus first. And this is the one that came with the set. And then we have more basic pieces like the rails and paddle wheels, but again, they have that cool glitter design. And there's also this drop-through piece here, which you can also find in the Galt Mega Marble Run, although it recently snapped off, so thankfully, with the help of my much more experienced with super glue family, we were able to glue this back together. And then we have only one funnel included in this set, but as you can see, it looks pretty dang cool. And by the way, I should mention that this glitter doesn't actually make a mess. It doesn't get on your hands or anything like that, because it seems like it's on the inside of the track pieces. That seems like that would be really difficult to manufacture. And there's also a horizontal paddle wheel and a few other pieces as well. So yeah, really cool set. If I could, then I would definitely get more of it. But sadly, it's pretty much impossible to find these anywhere. And also, the one big downside to Rolly Block is that these connectors here break very easily. As you can see, these are supposed to have 2 forks on each side, but as you can see on these, some of them broke off. And if that happens, the pieces will still connect to other pieces, but they won't be anywhere near as stable. You can see it kind of sticks out the side a little bit. Not too bad. It's still, well, actually now you can kind of see how it's crooked, but you know, that is not exactly good. Oh, and by the way, in case you wanted to see, how you actually assemble Rolly Block, I guess I'll just demonstrate right now. So pretty much you basically just snap these hooks together and they click into place really nicely, and they're very sturdy as well, so that's really cool. But sadly, of course, these hooks are not very durable, because as you saw, I've already had like 8 of these things break off. And that's really frustrating because of the fact that I know that there's literally no way I can get more of these Rolly Block pieces unless like Marble Genius revives them like they revived the Odyssey rails. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this set. I think that if you do see any Rolly Block set, even if it's just like 5 pieces, absolutely get it, because you may not be ever able to again in your life, because these are just that rare. And next up, I'm going to talk about another Marbulus set, which also has a few Rolly Block pieces. This is the Marbulus 95-piece set, which also includes an elevator, as you can see here, but we'll get to talking about that soon enough. But this set only included 8 Rolly Block pieces, but it does have a few pieces I haven't had before, like it includes these 2 finish points for Rolly Block, which is way more convenient than just having the track drop off like that, or go into like one of these exit things at the end, which I had set up earlier. But most importantly, the most interesting part is that we have this double entrance Rolly Block funnel. I should mention that the Rolly Block set definitely does remind me a lot of Block and Roll, which is a Duplo compatible marble run that I don't have, but I've known about it for a very long time. It was like used in a lot of my childhood marble run videos I remember watching, but I'm getting off topic. Anyways, that's not the only cool thing included in this set. I think it's about time we talk about the main feature of this set, this big bulky elevator. Yep, that's right, Marbulus has elevators in some of their sets, including some with chain lift ones, but these fat ones are more common. Now, honestly, this type of elevator has quite its pros and cons, so I guess you could say it's a mixed bag. Now, first of all, I want to mention that at the bottom of it, there's this tiny screw here. I'm not sure if you could see that, but it sticks out of the bottom a bit. So if you put it on the floor, then it rattles. It's not even. So what you actually have to do is attach spacers or bases to the bottom of it, which thankfully that is possible, because if we look at the back side, you can see there's all these holes which you can fit pieces into, so you can actually elevate this as high as you want it to be. So that's a really strong pro right there. And this makes that nail that sticks out a little bit no longer a problem. And there you go. This is pretty much how I always have it now. We look at the top of the elevator, you can see it's just like a drop off here, but it has that little stub which is there for attaching customizable rail pieces, aka Odyssey pieces, to them. And that's how you hook these up to tracks that come after the elevator. So you want to attach these connectors to both sides. Don't want them sticking out of the edge too much, so I'm just pushing them in. So there we go. And now all you gotta do is attach one hook there and one hook here, and boom, you got it. That's how that works. Now we should talk about how well this elevator actually functions, if it does at all. Well, I guess the main advantages this elevator has over the more common chain lift elevator they make now is that, one, this big tub, although it looks pretty bulky and weirdly designed, it does allow you to fit a whole lot of marbles in this elevator, which is something the chain lift elevator base definitely can't say. And the other pro about this is that you don't have to set up those stupid chains in the chain lift elevator, which take a ridiculous amount of time to put together. It all comes pre-assembled. You just need the AA batteries to power this behemoth. But once we successfully turn it on, sometimes the switch doesn't work, we see the first thing I don't like about this elevator. Well, actually the first 2 things. One, there's a large gap between these rubber platforms the marbles get on top of. And 2, overall this elevator moves very slow. So, the marbles are basically social distancing from each other. You can't make them any closer than this, because these are all just like, it's just rubber. You can't customize them like you can with the chain lift elevator. So whenever I use this elevator in a race, sometimes I have to put like a funnel at the beginning so that the first place marble will have to take that funnel, and then the other marble will be able to catch up to them because they'll be able to skip it. That's literally what I have to do in order to keep the race fair whenever I use this. And also sometimes I'll use weighted swings, which only tip once a certain amount of marbles are on them. I bet you guys have seen me do that multiple times on the channel. But yeah, other than that, this is a perfectly functional elevator. For some reason, there's this red part here, which a marble just got stuck on. It automatically turns left and right. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe that's there to stop marbles from getting stuck in that crack. But once these marbles almost empty out of this container, we'll see the last flaw that there is about this elevator. If there are no other marbles behind the marble that's made it to the elevator loading station, then watch what sometimes happens. You see that? It just goes back and doesn't get on the elevator seat. And it's basically a random chance. Boom, it happened 2 times in a row. And this is why you'll sometimes see me like stick my finger in there just to block them off from having this happen repeatedly. So you literally have to do this when there's no other marbles behind that one. And this doesn't always happen every single time, but man, when it does, it is so annoying. Like, I've had multiple DNFs on the channel just because marbles will just get stuck here and I forget to block off that entrance there. But like, other than that, I guess it is an easier to assemble elevator than the chain lift elevator. It just has a few really annoying problems. But other than that, I think it's actually not that bad. Pretty good, actually. So, let's go back to talking about the rest of this set. If you've been following marble runs for a long enough time, you've probably heard of Marbulous Odyssey, which is basically a special type of Marbulous set made of exclusively rail pieces, which are very customizable because you manually put them together. And if you combine Odyssey sets with these special converters, then you can actually make it compatible with Marbulous. I don't have an Odyssey set, but this 95-piece Marbulous set does have a few Odyssey pieces, as you can see right here, or customizable rails, as I'm used to calling them. In order to attach these rails, you use these pieces, which unfortunately, even though this set came with like 4 of these, I haven't been able to find most of them, and now I just have this one, as you can see here. So there's only a limited selection of stuff I can make with this. I guess the most interesting thing I can do here is basically hook this up to the bottom forks, as you can see here, and then you can just attach another piece right here and do the same process to do that. And then what you want to do is on these entrance and exit pieces, you put these converters on the hooks here, and then you just slide them in. And boom, you got a unique rail piece. Now that is pretty cool. And sadly, these Odyssey pieces kind of just got left forgotten. Like, other brands never really incorporated them until a few years ago when Marble Genius released the Marble Genius rail set, which is basically a revival of Marbulous Odyssey, which does have a few changes. Well, the rail pieces are exactly the same, but the only difference is that an original piece design seemingly made by Marble Genius is this thing here, which the set has to connect the rails together instead of this. So, luckily, there are alternatives now. Now I'm able to connect multiple of these rail things together because now I have more of these connectors, but I personally like this old thing more because although this is simpler to set up, you see how it doesn't hold on well, but oh well, this is still pretty cool to have. And I do have special uses for certain Marble Run pieces to go along with the customizable rails, but we'll get to that later. And the rest of the set is pretty ordinary. except some weird details, are that there's pieces with colors you wouldn't normally see, like a blue staircase, that's basically unheard of, and a pink catcher, that's really rare. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this set. And now we're getting into the last Marble Run pile.
I want to be a cowboy, baby. I want to be a cowboy, baby.
And the last batch of rare Marble Run pieces I want to showcase for this video is this. These are seemingly decorative pieces, which usually come with Marbulous sets. Like, you'll typically get a lot of them, and they're typically used as, like, more interesting designs for spacers, you know, with the sacrifice of stability. But yeah, I found that these aren't just decorational, and there's actually a lot more ways to use them. But before we get to that, I think I should probably showcase these top ones right here, where normally you put these on the top of tracks, you know. If you want to cover up the top hole, you can just do that, you know. And again, if we take these off, then this is what it looks like. And these, again, they do actually have a use. Well, rather, a piece that looks very similar to this does. In the Lakeshore Learning Super Fun Marble Run, not to be confused with the Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run I talked about earlier, it includes one of these, which you might be wondering, wait, that kind of looks a lot like this, so what's the difference? Well, this is actually slightly higher up, and it's actually like that for a reason. Let's say you have a situation like this where you need to have this staircase here to be held up, but it can't on its own because there's no support here, and you somehow don't have an extra spacer to make that happen. Well, if you still have one of these, then all you gotta do is attach this there, and then you wanna slide this into the hole on the bottom of the staircase piece, and boom, you basically have an emergency support if you can't have them on one of these sides. There's rarely been situations where I've had to use this, but now you know that it is possible. Although most Marbulous sets have been discontinued and forgotten for years, aside from that one 80-piece set which doesn't have funnels that is still being made to this day, even though there's nothing interesting about it, you can still get these decorative spacers from other sets. They actually come in 3 different parts. If we detach this, then you can see that, and you can still get these from the aforementioned Lakeshore Learning Super Fun Marble Run, and also the currently unavailable Magic Journey 230-piece Marble Run, which also includes this piece, which used to be in a lot of Marbulous sets. This is just like a different type of base where this detaches, and I only have one of these, but yeah, they're pretty hard to find now. That's not all. We can still do more with these, actually. This right here is probably gonna blow your mind, because I haven't really seen anyone else on YouTube do this. If we take away one of these and replace them with another one of these bottom pieces, then we'll create this, which this might not seem significant, but once we attach this here, actually let me get a bigger base for this, because it's probably gonna fall. With the absolute power of this amazing engineering, we can have upside down Marble Run pieces. Yeah, this is, it's theoretically possible, and then if you need to expand it back up, then you can just, well, this is not gonna stay put at all. What if I use this? Okay. There we go. You can actually, of course, the problem here is that you cannot, like, place an extra spacer here, unless you actually, get 2 of these top pieces, and then this, yellow decorative thing right here, not sure what to call it, and attach them like this, and then boom, you attach it on there, and then you can just place pieces right side up from there. This technique may seem useless, but there are a few specific uses for this. One piece from the Redbox Marble Express that I actually forgot to mention in this video until now is this special 3-way base here, which the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because if you flip this upside down, then it actually works as a perfectly flat platform for customizable rail pieces to be supported on top, which I'm gonna show you how that can be done. Say we have a really long Odyssey rail section. Well, of course, if that's the case, then we're gonna need an extra platform to hold the track up near the middle, and that's where this comes in handy. So all we gotta do is attach this upside down converter thing to this, and then flip it around onto a base, and boom, you got a platform. And that's almost about it, but the last thing I want to mention is this two-way merging track right here, which now I actually have 2 of these. It came from the 208-piece MacLeod Marble Run set, but I would highly recommend that you don't get this set, because it's basically a scam. Because in reality, it only came with 142 pieces, and what you see here in the front page and on the box, you can't actually build with the set, because most of that stuff is not included. It turns out that it didn't include that orange peg maze, or that red open area track, or that new purple fast track with those interesting attachments. So that made me pretty mad, but at least I was able to get a few of these, which I had never had before. But there's still more to the story. So, just so you can see, like, the scale of what I have dealt with here, this is what the set was supposed to include, a lot of stuff, and, here's, what it says it includes. Apparently you get, let's see, you get one of those loop-de-loops. Oh, wait a minute, my set didn't include any. What about that new, interesting, spinning purple piece there? Nope, didn't have that. It didn't have this, or any of these, or this. And I think it included everything else. Although all other pieces were included, the amount of them was also different from what's shown on here. For example, these are actually just starting positions flipped upside down, but they're incorrectly labeled as bases. But anyways, it says you get 6 of those. The set actually included 10. And what about this two-way merging track, which I previously had never had before? It says it only includes 1, but it actually includes 2. Like, what were they thinking? It seems like they just randomly decided to, hey, instead, I'm lazy, I don't want to do my job. Instead of thinking about what pieces are supposed to be added in the set, I'm just gonna dump in a bunch of them, and boom, you get 10 of these in one freaking set. Like, aside from these, I already have 64 of these starting positions. Like, I don't need any more, and I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with this much. But, yeah, it seems like in place of those missing pieces, which should have been included, we just get more of these random filler pieces instead. Like, did they just run out of these pieces in the manufacturing? I don't know. I assumed when I got this that, maybe this is a total scam, and everyone who orders this set is only gonna receive this limited selection of pieces. Well, it turns out that that's not quite the case, because a marble racing channel I like, Marble Expert, actually unboxed this set. This is the exact same box that my set came with. But look at this. His set came with these pieces that didn't come with mine. So, like, why? How come this guy got everything that was included in the set, but I happened to not? I'm assuming that it's the manufacturer's fault. Well, then again, if it wasn't, then who else would it be? I know I didn't forget to unbox any pieces from the set, that's for sure. But, like, clearly, some listings of this set do get these unique pieces that didn't come with my set, but for some reason, mine didn't come with it. By the way, I want to mention that in the end, this video, it mentions that it apparently costed, at least it costed Marble Expert $34. Well, mine over here, even though it had less pieces, it costed $50. And to top it all off, the set has a ton of broken English written everywhere around the pages.
Experience the marble game fun with Marble's Adventure. Simple, assemble with manual, but lots of creative possibilities.
Why is there a V there?
Rotating and big funnel. Slide down. Rolling down.
Wow, down. That's literally an M, not an N. Like, come on, guys, you had one job. You had one damn job. Yeah, I'm definitely not ordering from MacLeod again, that's for sure, but hey, maybe that was just like one bad manufacturing. Maybe every other copy of this set on the planet has all the pieces that are actually pictured here, but yeah. mini rant over, and shout out to Marble Expert. Yeah, that was kind of a scam, but yeah, at least it did come with these, which have turned out to be pretty useful. So to wrap things up, that covers about all the sets I have. Well, all the rare sets that you guys might be curious about. So to wrap things up, let's talk about the availability of all these sets. The Fat Brain Toys Super Fun Marble Run is totally discontinued. You can't get it new anywhere. I'm guessing the only way you could ever have a chance of finding this set is if there's an eBay listing for it, which right now there is none. And then same with the Redbox Marble Express, you're just gonna have to hope there's an eBay listing. And there's also an alternate version of this set called the Nickelodeon Marble Madness set, which is basically the same thing, but with early 2000s Nick branding. Yeah, pretty nostalgic to look at, because that's kind of what Nickelodeon looked like when I was a little kid. But anyways, the 95-piece Marbulous Marble Run, same deal. It's basically impossible to get. There's no eBay listings for it. However, this smaller Redbox set you can still get, although it has been released under a few different brand names now, like Wow Toys, which it's the same set, and the pieces on the bottom still have like the Redbox logo. If we look here, I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can, but that right there does say Redbox, but you can't really see it in camera. You can only see it in person. And then these pieces, although most Marbulous sets don't exist anymore, you can still get this from the Lakeshore Learning Super Fun Marble Run. And then this is just a pile of example pieces, nothing important there. And then the old version of the Galt Super Marble Run, same deal as those other three. You're just gonna have to hope you find an eBay listing of it. Same thing with the Neon Marbulous set, and also same thing with the original version of the Mindware Marble Run. So yeah, most of these pieces are unfortunately nearly impossible to get, but now you know where to look for them and where they actually came from. So thank you for watching this very big video, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.